Coming up tonight, another cabinet meeting has taken place in the nation's capital, where Prime Minister, Head of Government Joseph John Gute and other members of government have sought to improve on the country's economic sector, as well as new orientations in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic and economic stability. Details on this edition of the news. And researchers, traditional practitioners together with Parliament have today sought to draw a common line between traditional medicine and modern medicine. The President of the National Assembly, Honorable Kavayege Jibril, calls for a more legitimate place for traditional medicines in Cameroon. And over to the southwest region, Kumba main market traders have found themselves for the umpteenth time at a tight end as the market has been reduced to ashes. Those are our top stories. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching the 6 p.m. newscast on Spectrum Television. I am Josephine Bindzi. Finding a common ground for traditional medicine and modern medicine was prioritized today as the President of the National Assembly, Honorable Kavayege Jibril, has today, together with researchers, traditional practitioners in Parliament, sought to find a synergy between traditional medicine and modern medicine. Over 20 traditional practitioners were present to display various produce. Traditional products have caught the attention of the entire nation in a time where government has employed several response strategies to combat the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Discussions on improving laws to protect natural plants are also underway, where traditional practitioners draw their inspirations from. With over 12,592 COVID-19 cases in Cameroon, there are speculations that the country might have reached its peak of the pandemic. In the following report by Catherine Kone, Dr. Adamu Kasum explains what the peak of the pandemic really is.
Latest speculations by health officials in Cameroon relating to the COVID-19 say Cameroon may have arrived its peak. Knowing exactly what this means, a health expert in the city of Douala explains this.
So when people will talk about peak of the pandemic, it's just a simple statistical analysis of saying that an increasing cases will reach a level. It's not like a peak in the way that we think literally. It will reach a level where it will become a plateau, and then it will not increase again. It will maintain an isoelectric line like a plateau, though there might be a period of small spike of cases. But then people should be aware that when we talk about the peak of a pandemic, it is not 1 day or 2 days. It can be made, it can even be a year or a month. But our problem is that it's a statistical expression of saying that this disease, if we draw a graph, will reach a level where it will not be increasing upward, but it will maintain a plateau for a long time and then tending to be decreasing, looking for a way to decrease.
He added that the peak of the pandemic curves are usually symmetrical in nature.
That happened. People have been infected left and right, and at one time the rate of infection will start growing exponentially. And when it grows, and then people become aware of preventive measures, and then that preventive measures will be dominating the multiplication of or distribution of the virus. At that time, you will reach what they call the peak of the virus, which is not a value, it's not a figure, but it is a plateau, it is a diagram where you are making a curve. You go up the curve, you don't reach the top of the mountain, you reach a place where we'll go to a plateau and remain at that plateau for some time. That time can be variable, and then you go to the descending path.
Dr. Adamu Kasum further explains that the peak of the pandemic simply tells the population that it is not over until it's over and can be determined through statistics.
It entitles that it gives assurance to the country that the pandemic is slowing down, and it entitles that if things are very rigorous, will will go to the phase of declining, which means the disease can gradually be disappearing, but not in a very fast way. Things will go in a very slow way. It's just a statistical determination. It's true that many of the people who will have COVID-19 could have it without even being identified, especially in young people with strong immunity. They could get the virus and it goes away just like a mild cold, and everything goes without them being identified. But for the elder or people with diabetes or underlying diseases, they fall sick enough for us to identify them. So the question to determine it will be statistical. Most of the statistics are not real because we have not got the opportunity to get everyone registered.
With the daily increase of COVID-19 cases, there are fears that Cameroon will witness a spike in.
We now take you to the government high school Akwa in the Douala municipality, where school authorities are enthusiastic as ever before in ensuring the school year ends successfully. And sanitary measures like wearing of face masks and social distancing are scrupulously respected, as Oniladone tells us in the following report.
This is the routine carried out by administrators and students of the government high school Akwa Douala every morning before going to class. From ensuring every student wears a face mask before entering school premises to making sure they wash their hands, control still continues right into classrooms.
Pour que les mesures barrières soient respectées au lycée d'Akwa, on a mis
in order for barrier measures to be respected at Lycée d'Akwa, all the staff had to be mobilized, from teachers to the administrative staffs. It means when we come in the morning, we have staffs who receive students at the gate, so as to make sure every student enters with a face mask. Others are there making sure everyone wash their hands, and others are in classes making sure students respect social distancing. Because we notice that when there's nobody to watch over these students, some leave their seats to meet with their friends, something that is not good. So that's what we are doing daily to fight the coronavirus.
de ce qui n'est pas déjà bien. Donc voilà ce que nous essayons de faire au quotidien pour éloigner de nous le virus.
These measures are sometimes not fully respected, as the face masks are often not properly worn. For the primary section, the joy of reuniting with friends every morning replaces their consciousness in respecting barrier measures. However, teachers are also strict on ensuring these pupils respect barrier measures.
Chaque matin, systématiquement, il y a lavage de mains à l'eau coulante et du savon. Il y a nettoyage de tout.
Every morning, students wash their hands. All benches are cleaned with bleached water that was soaked a day before, and it's done every day. It's done for 1 hour because the students come in at 7 and classes begins at 8.
Au courant de la journée, et c'est systématique, c'est tous les jours. Ça se passe en 1 heure parce que les élèves arrivent dès 7 heures et les cours commencent à 8 heures.
Government entrance exams into secondary school is scheduled on June 30th, 2020.
Prime Minister Josephine Bindzi has today chaired a cabinet meeting as Cameroon's foreign trade performance has come under review. The cabinet meeting for the month of June was to access the production of rice and maize in Cameroon. Production basins and enterprises have witnessed a much slow motion since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, resulting in the disruption of several trade patterns as there is difficulty in external supply. The Prime Minister today and other members of government have devised strategies to give Cameroon a better trade balance. Full protection in Cameroon after the Ministry of Forestry and Wildlife has classified all species of these animals under A category. The move, which comes 14 years after, is the first exercise which involves birds, reptiles and animals. Peter and Sosi.
In an earlier classification, only elephants with tusks weighing less than 5 kilograms were fully protected, alongside the giant pangolin. The small pangolin that was formerly a Class B species, signaling partial protection, now moves to Class A for total protection as well. As a consequence, the judicial sanction for the killing of some elephants and the small pangolin were lenient on culprits, encouraging many to indulge in the illegal activity. The Cameroon government is taking steps to boost the protection of elephants and pangolins at a time when these species face grave threats from poaching for their tusks and scales respectively. A 2015 Worldwide Fund for Nature Wildlife Survey revealed that the protected areas in the southeast of Cameroon had lost over 60% of their elephant population, while hundreds of kilograms of pangolin scales have been seized at the Douala International Airport, being smuggled out of the country by traffickers. Alongside elephants and pangolins, several species of monkeys, including the agile mangabe and the hoest monkeys that previously only enjoyed partial protection, have now been fully protected, significantly increasing the punishment for their killings. Meanwhile, the highly threatened African grey parrot has moved from Class B protected bird to Class A. The decision by the Ministry of Forestry and Wildlife comes 14 years after the last classification was made in 2006. In all, 43 wildlife, including aquatic species, were placed in Class A, alongside 59 birds and 17 reptile species. According to Cameroon's wildlife law, anyone found at any time or anywhere in possession of a whole or part of a live or dead protected wildlife species is considered to have captured or killed it. The defaulter will be punished with an imprisonment term of 1 to 3 years and with a fine of about 3 to 10 million francs CFA.
And we take you to the southwest region, specifically in the Meme division, where fire outbreaks at the Kumba main market have been recurrent over the years, as many businessmen and women are battling with the present socio-economic struggles Cameroon finds itself in. Another fire outbreak in the market has today left traders in a helpless state, as Crystal Asexwele tells us.
Has ravaged some stores in the Kumba main market food line, fondly referred to as Planty Line. The fire burned down 3 cold stores containing a stockpile and baskets of fish of other fishmongers which were stored here. I came this morning to collect the bag of fish which I sell, kept in this shop, only to discover the shop has burnt down. The biggest victim, a cold store with 5 giant deep freezers. I was called this morning at about 3 a.m. that there was fire in the market. I rushed to the market and discovered that the fire had consumed everywhere and there was no way out. We tried calling on the firefighters to no avail and ended up begging the population to assist us. Sources say that the fire broke out in the early hours of Wednesday, June 24, when no trader was in the market but for the security guards. All efforts by the local population that gathered to put out the fire was futile as the damage had already been done. Everything has been burned down, about 5 freezers all gone. Nothing could be saved, as you can see. The loss is really huge. The exact cause of the inferno is yet to be established, but speculations are high that it might have resulted from short circuit in electricity supply, which causes can't be dismissed. The Kumba main market has a long history of fire incidents, with the latest on February 8, 2020. All efforts by the administration of Meme Division as well as the municipal authorities to fight against fire outbreak in this market are laudable, but still yet to fully pay off. However, the wish of the Kumba city dwellers remains that something be done to minimize fire incidents in the main market.
And we still remain in the market, where the fall in the prices of tomatoes cannot go unnoticed as a result of its abundance in the market. Farmers therefore call on government to readjust the prices of perishable goods in order for them to be able to make a living. Oni Ladonet still has more.
Traders of these juicy red fruits are facing a huge loss this season as they lament on a considerable fall in the prices of tomatoes as a result of its abundance in the market.
Aujourd'hui, les agriculteurs sont dans de sérieux problèmes.
Today, farmers are in serious problems because the amount is too much. And what I'm asking from the government is to look into the situation. They should reduce prices of perishable goods so farmers can make a living, because many today are in hardship.
La prison les guette carrément.
La situation nous a mis dans les problèmes de crise.
The situation has put us into crisis. We and our brothers who are farmers, we already have issues due to the closure of the boundaries. We have already too much goods and our market cannot contain all of them. An ordeal which they say has never happened before. I have never sold tomatoes at that price since that we have been here. It's exorbitant. We are bewildered because in small markets, every day, different quantities come in every day and they sell for 2,000 francs. It's not worth the effort. It's my first time to see tomatoes in the market this way. Gardeners say they cultivate in large quantities. It's my very first time. A situation that has been attributed to the spread of the novel coronavirus all over the nation's territory, which has not only caused hardship to the population, but also hampered export.
À cause du coronavirus qui est arrivé.
Due to the coronavirus, which came at a time when people were already engaged in farm work at a level they couldn't stop, which means they invested before the COVID-19. Some even borrowed money, 8 million, and now they see their products selling here in Douala at 2,000 francs, with all the spending and gets no profit.
À 2000, les gens n'ont rien.
While consumers are happy over this decrease in prices, it is a nightmare to these traders. Today, a basket of tomato costs 2,000 francs, 1,500. The cost of transport for a basket is 1,000 francs, and an empty basket is 300 francs. If we sell at 2,000 francs or 1,500, you can see that it's impossible for a gardener and his family to survive. With Cameroon being an exporter of tomatoes to countries like Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, the reopening of borders will go a long way to ease off the hard times, the traders suggest.
L'ouverture des frontières, c'est tout. La quantité, si ça déborde de la population de Douala.
Reopening of borders is the solution. The quantity has surpassed the population in Douala, and it keeps coming in. We sell in quarters, and small sellers already have enough to sell.
Parce qu'on crie avec les critiques plus de 2000 devant la porte et ils se ravitaillent. Donc c'est d'ouvrir les frontières.
These tomatoes are cultivated in the Bam and Inubu divisions, located in the central region of Cameroon, and in the Day division, west region of Cameroon.
Urban disorder is gradually gaining ground at the new Dedo market in Douala. Traders now willfully occupy public space meant for pedestrians and vehicles to display their goods, thereby paralyzing circulations. Despite several warnings from authorities in charge, the traders say persistent move to them is a cause for concern. Catherine Kone with details.
The illegal occupation of public spaces by traders here at the new Daido market is predominant. Traders have become proprietors and proprietaries of these spaces, despite relentless effort by the city council in giving a befitting fees at the market. The reason we find ourselves along the road is because we have to do this in order to survive. Every time we sell along the road, they always come and drive us away. But what we don't understand is, even though they drive us away, they always ask us to pay a ticket.
Donc ça veut dire que même comme nous vendons, nous payons quand même, nous payons les places là.
Road meant for pedestrians have literally been taken up by fixed itinerant traders who pay just 100 francs CFA to display their goods.
Bon, les tickets pour ceux qui ont les petits trucs là, c'est.
Ticket for those with lesser goods is 100 francs, but for those with shops, it's 3,000 francs a month. For example, I have a shop, but since I expose my products along the road, I pay 3,000 francs every month in.
Pour l'exposition, donc c'est un peu ça.
Pavements have become choked by traders, paralyzing the circulation of vehicles and pedestrians. On several occasions, the traders were chased out of these spaces, but the move by authorities in charge seems not to be fruitful, as the non-respect of public spaces remains alarming.
And on our international page, spikes in new coronavirus cases in countries that appeared to have largely to new concerns contained the virus amid a debate over easing of lockdowns. Scientists are looking at whether the virus could have been imported by travelers or whether it is being spread by asymptomatic people. Details with the VOA.
The head of the Center for Disease Control in China claims there may have been asymptomatic cases well before the first instances of the new outbreak, also traced to a whole food market, were recently discovered. The 25 new cases China says were reported last Friday in Beijing were among 32 nationwide, 4 of them in Chinese citizens who had returned from overseas, according to official reports. There is a discussion by Chinese doctors over whether the DNA of COVID-19 in the Beijing outbreak is of a European strain.
They do know that the genetic characteristics of the organism in Beijing this time are different from Beijing a few months ago, which is to do with the organism having mutated.
Chinese officials say containment measures have slowed the momentum of the outbreak, which the government has said infected more than 200 people since earlier in June. In Europe, Germany has also seen a spike in cases after more than 1,500 people at a meatpacking plant had tested positive for the new coronavirus. New lockdown restrictions are being imposed until the end of June as German Red Cross workers in hazmat suits went door to door in Gütersloh on Tuesday to undertake mass testing.
Intensive testing will give us a better picture of the situation.
The news comes as officials in New Zealand reported disappointing news. The country was no longer free of the new coronavirus after 2 women who flew from London to see a dying parent had tested positive. Dr. Mike Ryan heads the World Health Organization's Emergencies Program.
It is a challenge for all countries, and I think South Korea with other countries demonstrate that even when you get down to very low incidence, you still have to have a very strong public health surveillance system, and you still have to have a very capable public health infrastructure.
Global infections surpassed 9 million this week as Brazil and India grappled with an outbreak in cases, and other hard-hit countries reported new surges, including in some parts of the United States. Mariama Diallo, VOA News.
And this is where we draw the curtains for tonight's edition of the news. Thanks for watching us. Take another rendezvous with us at 6 p.m. tomorrow. I am Josephine Bindzi. Good night.